Hello there. This is the neck off the very first bass guitar that I ever built. Um, the wood for the body of this instrument was given to me by my mother-in-law. It was an old antique table, and she had had it for years because there was the center leaf of that table was missing. It was a one of those that had the big center panel so that you could make it wider or bigger. But it was an antique. It was well over 100 years old, and she liked my guitar building, and I was looking for wood, and she said, "Well, I've had the thing for 50 years, 60 years, and I can't find the leaf for it. It's really not worth anywhere near as much as it would be with that. It's why don't you take that and build a guitar out of it?" And it was, she thought it was solid walnut, but it was veneered. Many of the old type furniture, in the furniture we have today as well, is veneered. And so when I got it home and started looking at it and removed the veneer, I realized that it was pine, which is to me was unusual because most of the older um, furniture was had a veneer shell, but it was mostly made out of poplar. But when I built the instrument from it, the body, the wood was so dry that the base body itself weighs 2 pounds. That's all it weighs. That's how dry the wood was. The wood was so dry that when I routed out the cavities and routed out the perimeter of the instrument, what came off the router was not fine chips. It was like dust. It was really scary to route it because I'd never seen anything like it. It was like a fine powder. And so the instrument has sentimental value to me because it the wood for the body came from my mother-in-law. She is 98 and we will not have her for much longer. And I want to be able to play this instrument and think of her after she's gone. The problem is the wood that I made this neck out of is not stable. It's seriously backbowed. Even if you loosen the truss rod all the way off, it will not straighten out and the strings will not pull it straight or pull proper relief into it. A year or two ago, what I did was put it in a clamp so that I clamped a forward bow into the neck and I left it there for several months. And then I strung the instrument back up and worked with the truss rod and adjusted it, and it's been good. It lasted about a year, but eventually it bowed backward again. And so what I'm trying to do, since I want to play this instrument, if you look, I've been doing some work. I don't know if you can see, but I've got black marker on the tops of the frets, and you can see that most of that's been taken off because this is the center where it's bowed. A lot of the luthiers that work on the older Martins and older instruments that had either no truss rod or a non adjustable truss rod, when they got in situations like this, would pull the frets in the center, replace them with taller frets, and then level the board, hoping that when they got done, they would have plenty of fret left over in these areas and the instrument would play well. The only other thing I could do is get some frets that had tangs that were wider than these, pull these frets and put them in so that it would compress the wood and do what's known as compression fretting. that takes a lot of skill that I'm not sure that I could do. So what I'm going to do, these are pretty good size frets. The height of the fret was 90 thousandth before I leveled it the first time when I installed these. So what I'm going to do is I've got the truss rod backed all the way off, and then I tightened it until it was just started to tighten, so that I know that there's not going to be any movement or play because of the truss rod. Uh, and so now what I'm going to do, and I've already started, if I look at it with a straight edge, it's low on this end and it's low here. Obviously, you can see that. But past the 12th fret, I want some fall off on this neck. So, I mean, it wouldn't matter to me. I don't do the wheedly stuff on a bass guitar up here, but a lot of people do. A lot of bass players do, but for me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna level these until the leveling beam starts hitting like the 12th or 13th fret. And then I'm gonna stop, and then I'll crown the frets and dress them and polish them up and string the instrument up and hope for the best. So that's what we're doing. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay this leveling beam, and you see I'm going to push down here, and I'm going to make these frets level with each other till we get about the 12th fret. After that, we will see. The nut came off. That's all right. And I'm having a heck of a time working around this camera. So let me see what'll happen if I bring this way a bit and hold the neck like this. I'm starting to hit there, and I'm hitting the 12th right about here. So I'm getting where I want to go. I'm not putting any pressure on this tool because I don't want to press the frets, the neck. I don't want to flex the neck. I'm just so we can see. I can't see the camera, but we can see that we're starting to get frets leveled. The 12th fret is right here, and I'm starting to hit that 11th fret. I'm going to take it on down and see if I can hit the 12th here. And after that, we'll crown it. And so I've shown this many times before, crowning frets and all of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this right here. And when I get it where I want it, I'll crown the frets and polish everything up, and we will assemble the instrument and see how it does. But that's the deal, is I'm trying to level from here to about the 11th or 12th fret here, so that I have some fall off here, but these are flat and the same height as each other, and I have some fret left to do some stuff to make the instrument play properly. And I may go in and try to clean the markers up. The markers were wooden. I think it's zebra wood. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But over the years of the finger oils and stuff, they have disappeared. But I should be able to bring them back with some steel wool or something like that. So the next time you see this, I will be trying to play the instrument. Well, here we are. Uh, the action on this bass is 6/64th on the low E and 5/64th on the G string. And that is Fender spec for 9.5 and 12-inch radius P-bass guitars. And so let's play it, see how it sounds. Not a bass player, I play that bass, but that's pretty good, I think. Yeah, I think that works just fine. Um, and I have just a very slight, I would say I've got right around 10 thousandths relief at like the 8th fret. Fender specs 12. But you have to understand, people go on and on about factory specs. They don't really mean squat. They don't. That's a number. Those are numbers that Fender has determined would probably be good for most players. But one of the things that I've learned about bass guitars and bass guitarists in general is that there are bass players that want a specific type of action. It might be a little bit higher or it might be a little bit lower than what Fender recommends, depending on their style, what they're doing, what kind of music they're playing, the technique that they use. But if I had a nickel for every bass player that I've known that had strings that were a quarter inch off the blooming fretboard at the 12th fret and never even noticed or cared, I'd have a lot of money. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bless you. I'll talk to you later.